We are now joined from Cairo by the international relations expert Ahmed El Aneni. Thank you very much for being here with us on Q News. So how does the US veto of a Security Council ceasefire resolution affect Washington's credibility in pushing for a peace roadmap?
Definitely, this veto affects the ceasefire and the ongoing conflict in Gaza Strip and the peace processes in the region. The political deals of the United States should be reconsidered. They should have other calculations. Donald Trump, the US president, always calls for achieving peace in the region and talks about ceasefire in Gaza. And he says that he has political solution that he can propose and submit to the allies in the region. We're talking about Egypt. Egypt is a great player in the region. Egypt, with its geographic nature and with its respect, everyone respects Cairo, in fact. This is a fact, and it makes a great role in the mediation process. This veto, of course, affects the peace process in the region, and the United States takes the side of Israel in the latest war. If we want to have actual solutions, the United States should reconsider the use of veto towards the situation in Gaza now, at least from a humanitarian perspective, especially with the fact that what's happening over there violates the international humanitarian law. We're talking about 14 countries in the Security Council have voted in favor of the resolution, the non-permanent and the permanent member states. So the whole United Nations and the Security Council, all of them agree on stopping this war and continuing the negotiations. I think veto further complicates everything, but we depend on the mediators and the dynamic foreign policy of Cairo and its close relation with the United States and the European Union member states. Egypt and Qatar are both partners in this file. In the upcoming period, we may witness pressure being practiced over the United States, especially with some European countries taking a positive direction towards the mediators in the region. For example, Britain, that changed its situation, Spain and France, that suspended and intercepted weapon shipment that was supposed to go to Israel. All of these things serve the stability of the region.
So yes, let me just interrupt you there, because you mentioned Britain just now. Of course, Donald Trump has been on a state visit, an official state visit to the United Kingdom this week. But there is a difference or a disagreement between Keir Starmer and Donald Trump about recognizing Palestine as an official state. Could that have some implications, some fallout?
Definitely. This hinders and delays the recognition of the state of Palestine from the side of the United States. We're talking about the United States. Indeed, there will be a resolution with consensus from the General Assembly and the European Union member states that changed their stance. But we're talking about the United States, the one that has a pressure cord over the Israeli side. We're talking about a political perspective, a strategic perspective. The only one who can practice pressure on Israel is Donald Trump. The current US administration can do this when it comes to the files of the two-state solution, bringing peace, and the negotiations. Most of the countries in the region, on top of them Egypt, all of them have a long-term vision. They do not only talk about the ceasefire, because the ceasefire is not the permanent solution. The permanent solution lies in the negotiations and the pressure being practiced by the United States on Israel to continue negotiations. Then there should be an international conference that sets the headlines. These headlines should bring together the Israeli side, if they have the political will, with the Palestinians in order to work on the two-state solution. Indeed, the United States and the United Kingdom both have mutual visions, and sometimes they disagree because the United States has a slightly different policy from the European Union. Some European Union member states have changed their stances at the political level, but at the strategic level, they still the same. But we're talking about the United States that has political keys and has diplomatic and military solutions because the United States supports Israel militarily. If the United States is convinced with this, we will see a change. I'd like also to add something: the tools owned by the GCC and Cairo, because Cairo is a strategic ally to the United States, and the GCC are considered differently by Donald Trump. He takes care of them because they have an economic tool. There are lots of investments from Qatar, Emirates, and Saudi Arabia and Bahrain, and Donald Trump depends on these investments. So the timing for taking a certain stance and a mutual Arab vision will provide solution to this crisis, especially with the existence of Donald Trump. They can make use of his existence because Donald Trump gives priority to the economic file. He's a businessman at the end of the day, and he wants to achieve the interests of the United States. He will not support Netanyahu for nothing. He takes into consideration the American interest in the region, the investments in the region.
Okay, well, let me just cut in there again, if I can. Netanyahu said only a few days ago that striking Qatar, that strike on Doha, would bring the war to an end, and now he's intensifying Israel's ground offensive in Gaza City. What does that say about when we're going to see an end to this war?
This war, from my own point of view, is highly escalated, unfortunately, by the Israeli side. There is no political will. And with the support of the United States, helped further in the escalation of this war. If Donald Trump tries to have a broader look on the future, on the whole region, and goes beyond the Israeli interests, this will serve the stability of the region. Egypt has warned several times. The last time was in the speech by President Sisi. He warned against the regional war, and we have seen the consequences of the 12-day war between Iran and Israel. The conflict was extended, and now it included the proxy and the allies of Iran in the region. I think this is a positive point, and the key players in the region now are working in this point, including Cairo in partnership with the GCC, particularly Saudi Arabia and Emirates and other Islamic countries. What happens inside Gaza is the result of the existence of an extreme right-wing government in Israel that
Indeed,
does not care
and I think that's very much the case. But I'm sorry to cut you off again, but unfortunately we're just out of time.